Today I'm going to talk about how to build quality data sets for quality models. So we all know, I love this saying, garbage in, garbage out. It's one of the first things I was told by my team leader when I started my career in data science. And I'm sure you've all encountered this. So just as a quick setting up the stage, what does Gong do? So we capture spoken conversations, including their video if it's a conferencing call like Zoom or WebEx or whatever. We also capture written email correspondences, text messages, CRM data like Salesforce, whatnot. And we put that all in one platform. And then on top of that, we build insights to help revenue teams do better. OK, so our data setup looks like this. So we have huge amounts of unlabeled data, voice, text, video, all kind of metadata from the customer relation management platforms. We have 3,000. We have thousands of customers from a very, very diverse range of industries, and we have the privilege of having a huge team of in-house labelers and data managers, one of whom is standing over there, and in 5 languages and counting. And data managers is something that it's gaining popularity, but I don't see this position in many companies. This is a role that's key to data science. Adi here makes sure that we have quality data sets. She kind of characterizes them. She works with the labelers. She qualifies their work. Thanks, Adi. So I'm going to go through a few challenges and how what processes we put in place in order to solve these problems, these challenges. And if some of these are familiar to you, that's great. You're already on your way to solving them because you're aware of the problems. So first and foremost, if you stop listening after I finish this sentence, that's fine. I can live with that. Know your data, okay? Data exploration is absolutely essential to any model. And I'd even go as far as saying that it's even more important than the actual model that you choose to use. So please spend time early on and do this stage very, very thoroughly and carefully. Diversity. We want diversity in our communities, and we also want diversity in our data. Make sure that you kind of covered, or at least you try to cover all your bases with all kind of maybe edge cases, all kind of rare samples. And I know we have very big transformer-based models, but feature engineering is not dead. So I'll give you a small example. So as I told you, we capture video conferences, and we have a model that classifies into four classes: a browser demo, the app screen like the Zoom, a presentation, and the webcam. And we noticed that despite tagging, several thousands of slides, webcam images were misclassified as presentations. And we looked, and we dove into our data, and we found out why. Can you guess why this is the background? Yeah, we didn't have these backgrounds before, and what we did is we just feature engineered. We kind of made our model colorblind, and instead of now labeling hundreds more or maybe thousands more of video frames, we just feature engineered, and our model improved almost instantly. And this is a methodology that I really like: label, rinse, repeat. So what we do is we create our training sets in batches. And we it's kind of, you could call it agile data labeling. So we can correct course on our way. So we don't send our labelers, here's a bunch of text. We give them in batches. We can qualify their work. We can see where they're struggling, where our model is struggling. And another cool thing is that we use active learning, right? So we're incorporating our model as we go along, and we're kind of adjusting based on our actual model's performance. And there are gazillion ways to do active learning. I'm not going to talk about that, but that's a whole different subject for another talk. And we all know that we have mislabeled data. Sometimes, especially in the business domain, NLP labeling is really, really difficult. You would be surprised how difficult it is to define things. So giving labelers the option to skip and not forcing them to make a decision really takes a load off of them, like a cognitive load. They can breathe easier. It also helps surface problem areas. Another thing we do, we label some of our data by using more than one labeler, and we look at the disagreement. And that also helps surface trouble areas. And sometimes when humans have a difficulty agreeing, we can't really expect our model to predict consistently or correctly. So we can also, and this is kind of, I put a question mark there because it's, it's not a rule of thumb, but we can also kind of disregard those. We don't have to give our model the difficult examples. We want them to understand what the difference is between an apple and a banana, but we may not want them to tell the difference between an apple and a Japanese pear, which looks a lot like an apple. And also labeling committees. So we surface these trouble areas. We don't know, one person says up, the other person says down. Let's have them sit in a room and hash it out. And to end with, do you know who this is? Yes, this is, thank you. This is Edith Piaf. And you must be asking yourself, what is she doing here? Well, except for, other than having exceptional eyebrows, if I started this talk by encouraging you to explore your data, I end this talk by encouraging you to explore your model error. It'll tell you a lot. So we have multiple languages in our system, and we have a model trained to classify the language of the spoken conversation. And we found out that a lot of our calls were being misclassified as French. And we didn't really understand why until we took a look. And we realized that music is often misclassified as French. Apparently, French is a very musical language. And so we kind of filtered out the music segments of the calls. And again, presto, we didn't change the model at all. We just changed the input, and we got immensely improved results. That's it, basically, from me. Yes, thank you.
Do you have some kind of a benchmark to compare with the simple, usual crowdsourcing, like mechanical tools?
Well, we don't use crowdsourcing because usually our labeling tasks are very nuanced. It's kind of finding highlights in business interactions, in calls is very difficult. And sometimes the easier tasks give our labelers a chance to relax and kind of. So we have a mix of difficult and easy tasks. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the profile of such a labeler? If you can say in a few words.
Do you know any people who speak Portuguese?
That's it.
That's one for the very low resource languages. Then that is a prime.
Only the language.
Sorry.
Only the language.
The language, but they also, I mean, since they're building domain expertise in a kind of very nuanced and very difficult domain, so they need to have a good understanding, good, common sense is not that common, so they really need to.
Do you do some testing?
There is an interview process. I'm not part of the interview process, but yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Awesome. Thank you.